How'd you become a saint for stabbing Jesus?
That right. Wrong. Well, here's what it is. That's how powerful the blood is, man.
So much more than fun in games at the Cartoon Cabal. Beyond what's just in the name at the Cartoon Cabal. See just at what cost comes fame at the Cartoon Cabal. So much more than fun in games at the Cartoon Cabal.
Hello, welcome to the Cartoon Cabal. We're taking apart all of the episodes of Neon Genesis Evangelion. This is Matt here as always. Sitting over there, it's Paranoid American. How's it flying?
Let's kill some angels.
Killing angels with the Spear of Longinus. Yeah, that's impressive stuff.
Well, hold on. Lance of Longinus. Spear of Destiny. So
thank you.
You can interchange them, but they both have like this certain like gravitas with just like their names, right? So it's either Lance of Longinus or Spear of Destiny.
Yeah, well, we are splitting hairs the way we're looking at this, so it's worth the distinction, isn't it?
I guess so, yeah. Especially if we're trying to really parse out how much true esotericism is baked into the DNA of the show versus kind of sprinkled on top superficially.
Right. So titles on this one, I have Don't Be, and it has a second. Well, they all have second titles. This has a better second title, doesn't it? What's the Japanese title on this one? Did you get
liked Don't Be.
Yeah, I guess that's fine. Here's a question. Did you just watch the director's cut or did you do both?
I only did director's cut.
Okay, this is the first time where I'm like, because I had watched this 2 weeks ago because we had a scheduling kerfluff or whatever. Not a problem, but I needed to watch it again. And I accidentally put on the TV version. I was like, well, I'll just watch this. Liked it a lot better. It's the same thing with a few crappier shots of animation, and they take out all the Lolita stuff, which makes Asuka like way more sympathetic in the TV version than the director's cut.
Okay, yeah, I mean this one is a little bit avant-garde. I'll leave it at that.
It stays avant-garde, but what we lose in the TV cut is that opening scene with Kaji and Asuka first going to Japan and her just making like a kind of nasty 14-year-old girl pass at him, right? That's gone. And then later when she's having her psyche destroyed, it also cuts out all the Kaji stuff. So now it's just about, her parents.
Okay. I mean, is that the main difference? So I don't have to go back and watch the TV edit now?
That's the main difference. But then the first time I watched this episode, I was like, this is one of the best episodes of the show, and I hate it. That was my initial reaction.
I can see that. I mean, I wouldn't say I hate this one. I kind of like this one a lot.
No, as I said, it's one of the best episodes, and I hate it. Watching it without that kind of made me like it better. You still hate seeing Asuka, just get her brain destroyed. But another thing I would throw in Amadeus. Have you seen the movie Amadeus?
It's been a minute. That's the Beethoven movie, no?
Mozart. But the whole point is Salieri has become like, he's taken a vow of celibacy. He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't do anything because he wants God's music to pour through him. And Mozart's like a imbecile who does all of those things and creates genius, right? So in the theatrical cut of that, Salieri maintains that. Whereas in the director's cut, he forces Mozart's wife to sleep with him. And that kind of takes all the agency away from Salieri. I mean, I'm sure he might do that, but it's just like from a dramatic point of view, just adding in that like kind of like nasty, immoral edge, like kind of takes away from the character. I kind of felt like that's what happened in the director's cut of this, because the TV cut is very much a girl hitting her, first period, just kind of like having issues, and lashing out at people. Whereas the director's cut adds that Lolita factor.
If we're just going to be bringing up 80s and 90s avant-garde music movies too, I just need to throw out Farinelli. I don't know if you ever seen that one. That was a 90s one.
Oh, I haven't. Though when I was going through production, it did say that, sorry, scratch, repeat. I was thinking of the next thing we're doing, Inside Out. Get back to me about 80s musicals when we do Call It Disney.
Okay, all right, we'll get there. So, actually, speaking of occult Disney, that was a great prompt to remind me of another note I had here. But there's this phrase that keeps being repeated in this particular episode, and this motif about God created us, but we're just dolls to him. And my first thought was, this is a Toy Story reference. Now there is a canon reason that you can have a Neon Genesis Evangelion toy inside of one of the upcoming Toy Story movies, and it would fit in there perfectly, like a hand into a glove, like OJ's hand into a slightly bigger glove than I guess that we saw. But that the premise that Neon Genesis Evangelion toys could be in Toy Story would be like the perfect meta version of this, where they really are dolls created by this god.
Well, they got Totoro into one of them, didn't they? For thinking of anime. Yeah, I was also just for people who are interested, we're doing this, and then for Call It Disney, we're doing Inside Out. I'm like, similar plots, right? Because Inside Out is about the psychology of a tween girl, you know, having a rough patch. This is the psychology of a girl hitting puberty and having her psyche ripped apart. You don't get fun characters in her mind. You get German flashes of death and no instead.
So it was also, I had to watch the episode and then kind of sit down and think about what I just saw, because they do a Tarantino-esque version of storytelling here where they show you what happened, but then they show you the aftermath, and they keep cutting back and forth, and then eventually you get the entire story. So then if you were to watch it again, you kind of know what you're seeing that second time around, right? So her mom died, or her mom exited stage left early. She offed herself, but up leading to that, she basically was like looking at this doll she was given and treating the doll like it was her daughter, Asuka, and Asuka wasn't actually talking to her mom, or like her mom didn't recognize her. It sounds like she had dementia or something.
I had an impression that she'd had some sort of, Ava or nerve related psychological break, similar to Shinji's mom, but she had a period of just being demented, right?
But there was this doll. They keep showing this doll, and it wasn't Asuka's doll, I don't think. It was like the mom's doll.
Yeah, it was a mom's doll. Asuka was given a bear or something, which she ripped apart by the new mom. Like her dad apparently remarried. So, okay, here's your new mom. And it seems there is a period where, real mom is still alive, but not acknowledging anybody, except for the doll, which is not her daughter. And yeah.
So fun, right? A lot of fun times for Asuka there. And honestly, this one solidified me thinking that Asuka is the most interesting character in the whole series, essentially, because she's got like a very deep, complex mix of emotions here. She's clearly jumping between different personalities depending on what the context is, right? So she gets this phone call, what it's from her stepmom in German, and even Shinji's like, she turns into a completely different person when she's speaking a different language.
That does happen. I mean, my only fluent language is still English, but I try and do the best I can Japanese, but my wife is pretty fluent in both, and she's like, I say things in English I wouldn't say in Japanese.
I don't understand that concept. Is it just because you're used to a different series of phrases that mean different things, or are you actually in a different mood when you're speaking a different language?
You're thinking of things in different order. Like, I gave my sister a present, for example. Like, we start with I gave my sister, I'm doing this. And in Japanese, it'd be, like you start with sister, like, imoto wa present ni agimashita or something, right? I don't know if I said that right, if anyone really knows Japanese, but, like you would start with the other person. So that's kind of already a different way of thinking. I actually, just for funsies, since I did have it on the second time on the TV cut, for once I actually did let it run in English, and I was noticing some notable differences between the subtitles, and I could see where, I know what they said in Japanese and they made this subtitle, but when they did the dub, they translated it to make it more natural English.
I get that. Also, usually when this comes up, this concept of different languages implying different moods or different demeanors, usually German makes you angrier, right? But in this case, going from Japanese to German makes her friendlier. It just seems like a first for me.
Well, it's her first language too. It's her, that helps. If you're in your most comfortable language, you're going to be a little more footloose and fancy free. My wife's also mentioned is when she speaks in Japanese, she has a deeper voice, and when she speaks in English, she has a higher voice. So
I mean, that would go right along with it, right?
Yeah. So it is, people that are bilingual, multilingual, or whatever, there is a slight personality split when you go to that other language, and that's not any kind of, you didn't get MK Ultra unless you consider learning a new language part of that, which I would not.
Or if
Asuka did. I mean, I'm not saying she didn't. I'm just saying like the language thing alone would not be it.
Well, I think everyone in this show has been MK Ultra at some point in their lives, even if we haven't specifically seen it. We know enough about this universe.
Well, participating in this program, just doing this training is MK Ultra. If you have to sit all day inside this Ava and they're doing like synchro training, that is MK Ultra basically.
Right. Well, I guess, yeah. And to double down on that, it's not just MK Ultra, it's Project Monarch. And it's not just Project Monarch, it's this even deeper 13 Bloodlines conspiracy theory that in addition to this trauma-based control, that they're trying to find the ultimate victim, right? Like someone that can jump in and out of different dissociative states based on trauma. And like the better you are at doing that, you take the perfect MK Ultra victim and you have them breed with another perfect MK Ultra victim. And you just keep doing that until you have someone that you can just snap your fingers and they just assassinate whoever you wanted to. You don't even have to tell them how to do it.
Of course, here we also have the, just the realist, how in reality, like not all the pieces necessarily always connect. So we have the Monarch Ultra, nerve with Kondo, and he's don't call the 13 bloodline, don't call Seal, right? We need to do this right now. So we are going to ignore this other part of it at the moment because I'm making a snap decision.
Because we've got this idea that there's these inner factions and spies and like factions working against other factions, even within Nerve and then even outside of Nerve. So like everyone's got to have some kind of a secret little project going on and a deeper understanding. And then speaking of deeper understanding, I also feel like I slightly get the Adam thing a little bit more, and that Adam wasn't just like he's not the actual Adam from the Bible. Adam was just the very first angel that came down, and that humans captured him and they're kind of experimenting on him. That was the overall premise that I got from this episode finally.
Of course, now they got the lance out. Sorry, I'll try and get it right this time.
Well, not anymore. They had it for a second, but now they don't.
Yeah, now it's orbiting the moon. I love that detail. Yeah, it's orbiting the moon now, and we can't get it back.
Which is pretty badass. And I guess the OG Lance of Longinus and the Spear of Destiny, this was the guy that pierced the side of Jesus and the blood ran down it. And I think the official story, he actually becomes a saint, right? It's not just the Lance of Longinus, it's a Lance of Saint Longinus.
How do you become a saint for stabbing Jesus? That
right. Well, here's what it is. That's how powerful the blood is, man. The blood that ran down that spear, and it basically healed his sight because he couldn't see or he had problems with vision, and it turned him directly into a saint. That is literally why it's such a coveted object, because it represents that just touching the blood of Jesus cures your sin almost, right? This sounds pretty powerful, especially if you're trying to rule the world through any means necessary, that there might be a substance that if you just own it or touch it, it absolves you automatically. That would be wild.
This episode also had the big reveal that still feels kind of obscure. So I think it's not as obvious as some of the others, where Masato realizes the second impact was not caused by direct contact with the angel, it was caused by something else. Because she was like, at first, if the spear touches an angel, that's going to cause the third impact, like Adam plus an angel. Yeah, it's obscure now.
Yeah, you're starting to understand that everything that the series told you up to this point has been a lie, not just to you, the viewer, but to the participants in it, right? So like even the people running the program, they're all being lied to in some different capacities. So I can't tell if that was all planned or if that's just a really convenient exit strategy for the series, as they're seeing, okay, we've got about 4 episodes to go. Let's just, make everyone lie to each other. And then that way we don't have to explain too much.
There is production wise, the idea was the Asuka type character in a mech series like Gundam. I mean, it's not Asuka, but yeah, I was in the Assembly yesterday. I saw something. I was like, oh, is that Asuka? I look at it. No, it's actually Gundam, right? So there is a visual thing, but that type of character in most mech series has sort of plot armor. You know, the fun character, nothing bad ever happens to them. So he's like, I'm going to make something bad happen to the fun character in this one.
Honestly, that's what makes me appreciate this series more than typical Gundam type stuff, where the focus is entirely on the cool mech battles, because you can kind of just like turn your brain. It's kind of like Michael Bay. It's like watching a Michael Bay movie in a way. And this one is way deeper. This is like a Darren Aronofsky version of like a mech thriller.
Yes, that's the kind of disturbing I get watching this one, especially both cuts really. I guess I actually got it more at the TV cut because, again, Asuka is way more sympathetic in the TV cut.
There was also a line in here when they were talking about Adam and the Lance of Longinus and these different fights of like the second contact and maybe this third contact. They kind of talk about it like it's World War II and World War III that's coming a little bit. But one of them says, is our revenge worth this? Talking about like these battles with the angels and making the Avas and everything. And my first thought though was like, how this isn't revenge, right? Like, am I missing something? How could us humans fighting angels be revenge? It's the angels that are coming down and blowing things up, right? So it's not a revenge play, it's a self-defense play. Even if everyone's lying to us, the angels are still manifesting and shooting lasers and blowing stuff up.
Right. Although, who knows? Maybe the angels are the righteous, and getting rid of the pestilence. That's a normal sci-fi concept. We are the pestilence. We must be destroyed. He does also
us, and not listeners, but everyone.
Oh,
else.
not listeners. Everyone else. Yes.
Or Patreon. Patreon subscribers are excluded from that.
You got to subscribe to Patreon for that. His right-hand man is also like, oh, we don't have enough Avas yet. I'm like, how many Avas are we planning to make exactly? Are we planning to have like 50 angels attack all at once and we need 100 Avas? Or is everybody supposed to be an Ava in 50 years, you know?
Well, technically, if the Ava is an angel trapped in a mech body, then every angel that they kill can be turned into another Ava on a long enough timeline, right? So at a certain point, it almost becomes like a 51% attack. Like once you've got more Avas than they have angels, then you technically win. Unless they're saving the biggest and baddest angels for the end. Now I'm pretty sure that, what is it, like 72? There's different numbers of the different rings of angels, but we're only on 15 and we're on episode 22 and there's only 26 episodes total. So, and I don't think they have the budget to whip through another 50 or 60 angels. So I don't think we're getting a full 72 out of the series.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we're not. Well, hey, you know, so they did make those movies afterwards. So it should be interesting when we get to the end of this. I had a conversation a few days ago with guys who have watched the whole series, and even they were like, started having trouble explaining. They at first like, no, I don't watch reboot movies because they just like the original series. And then I was like, no, I mean the movies from the series. And then they even had trouble explaining to me what they were, having seen them. So
that's how MK Ultra works, man. It starts blending memories together, and you start questioning your own sanity. And that's pretty much. Then next thing you know, you're inside of a mech suit fighting an angel.
Yeah. Unless you're Shinji, who's just sitting around sulking in a depowered Ava in this episode, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, I don't see Shinji being redeemed as a character over the next 4 episodes. Anything can happen, but it would be like the most Mary Sue sort of approach ever, where all of a sudden he's just turning things around. I feel like that ship has kind of sailed a little bit.
Well, that's the key that turned 7 or so episodes ago, where Anno was basically like, well, these are broken people. They wouldn't have happy endings. So he's like, Asuka did not have a happy ending in this episode. And Shinji won't cross the line, right? That's, a little bit of a, because at the end they have Ava quarantined on the side of a building, I guess. I don't know how long she's supposed to sit there, but
I got another
one anyway.
Another maybe like a more nuanced tell from this one, but I could really see from the conversations that were happening between the characters in this particular episode how ambitious the series itself really was, and that there was really never a chance that we're ever going to animate all of the things that they're trying to conjure up, because they're describing like all these other battles and like all these other interactions and different angels and stuff. And I have to imagine that whoever's originally conceptualizing this, they're seeing the cool anime frames in their head, but that part just never makes it into the production because no one has the time or money to do all this. But it gets the idea that unlike some of the other like 80s and 90s anime style series, sometimes those ones just feel like they're just throwing frames at you and the story's kind of being pulled along by the artwork. Most 80s cartoons in general, not just anime, but like even Western stuff, it's kind of victim to all that, right? G.I. Joe and He-Man and all that stuff. I won't get too specific. But
sometimes it is the budget thing, though, like Pokemon and Digimon. I'm not into either of those, but I know people who are, and they've explained that Pokemon had the money, had great looking animation, and it's kind of just like, you know, milquetoast stories, whereas Digimon didn't have money. It had crappy animation, so they really put effort into making this. So people are like, oh, Digimon's got the better stories. I don't know, haven't seen much of either, but
yeah, we don't live in the timeline when Neon Genesis Evangelions, we have to say the whole thing. We don't live in the timeline when that had the unlimited budget that could have delivered whatever the hell they had in mind. Although who knows if sometimes if you give someone the keys to that Ferrari, they'll also crash out. They don't make it to, you know, point B.
Yeah, you can turn left, you can turn right, you know. Some people are good at starting things and not ending things. Hello, J.J. Abrams, you know. Can make a pilot, cannot stick the landing.
In the last episode, you made a mention that I think you like either watched ahead or something, but you mentioned this elevator scene. So when it happened, and yeah, I think you were talking about how they were just trying to save money on budget a little bit. I didn't dislike the elevator scene, man. I actually thought that it worked out well. It conveyed the message, which is basically that Asuka's trying to give everyone the silent treatment because she's angry at everybody. She says she's going through a period. It's like a million things going on. It's not just one thing. And she gets caught in the elevator with Rey, and it's just silence for 2 minutes or something. And then she like yells something at Rey, or Rey just said something really nonchalant, and then Asuka gets lit up. I just thought that it was the right amount of silence.
No, I thought... I think now people like it. When it first aired, it was a critique against the episode. So
fair point. If we are going to critique it at all, which usually doesn't really matter, but there is this other weird scene after that, which is like this MK Ultra breakdown, which I'm assuming is part of the frames that get cut in the TV version. But it almost is like this broken record where it shows Asuka freaking out like 4 times in a row, like the same sequence, except each time the audio changes slightly, like they might add a little bit of reverb, and it looks like the video zooms in a little bit. But otherwise, she keeps saying the exact same things. You see the exact same frames. And if I didn't expect it to happen, and I was just like, this is just the show being weird, I legitimately would have thought like, oh, this pirated rip that I've got, someone screwed up the encoding or something. But I could kind of tell that it was supposed to be like that. But I didn't appreciate that as much as the elevator scene. And I couldn't tell if that was supposed to be unsettling or if that was legitimately like, hey, here's a clever way to stretch out our playtime.
I think it's a little of both, to be honest.
Is that, and I assume that's the part that got edited down a little bit more?
Yeah, right. The elevator scene is complete in the episode, though, in the TV version. So that was there. I mean, that again, it's effective, but it was also there to save money. So all of the above for that one. I like it. Yeah, I think it's watching it now. It's great. So if you ever watched much Stan Brakhage, that was another thing that came to mind. The final sequence, or the mind destroying sequence.
I don't even know who Stan Brakhage is.
He was an experimental filmmaker. I make music under the name Glaze of Cathexis. That's actually named after one of his movies. And a lot of his movies were completely silent and of just like insane flash flood imagery. And yeah, that's kind of what was going on a little bit at the end. I don't know if that's specifically what they were thinking, but as a fan of that stuff, yeah, if anyone's interested, look up Glaze of Cathexis, listen to my music, and then watch the 3-minute movie. It's also called Glaze of Cathexis. Yeah, his movies are like usually like 3 to 5 minutes. He's got some longer ones, but very avant-garde filmmaker. Sort of in the Kenneth Anger territory, but without the Church of Satan connections, I think.
Yeah, you can't be too careful.
You can never be too sure. What else do I got here? Oh, I just speaking of references, I did notice Shinji's XTC shirt, which does not mean he likes XTC.
I didn't know what that meant.
Oh, the band XTC.
Okay, I still don't know what that means. Good
band. Recommend. Late 70s or 80s. They were one of the better like kind of post-punk bands, and then they became like pastoral pop in the late 80s, early 90s. Dear God, Skylarking. Big recommend.
American,
for XTC.
British,
but they were weirdly more popular in America.
Okay, that's normal.
Like college rock. I mean, they were never very like mainstream, but yeah.
It's like when like a group gets big, you usually don't tour your own city. You go to like surrounding cities so you can be like, yeah, I just played, elsewhere.
The Ballad of Peter Pumpkinhead is your Kennedy King Kill song. So there's one for you. It's kind of, you would probably dig that. So anyway, I've been a fan of them since I was like 18. So I picked up on it. It's got the early 80s, more like post-punk design to it, but that does not mean Shinji's into XTC. One, he's too lame to be into XTC.
He's a poser. He's one of those ones that just likes the look of the logo, and they're just wearing it because
he is. No, that is a Japanese thing though, because I mean, you'll see a kid wearing like a 2001 A Space Odyssey t-shirt. They don't even know who Stanley Kubrick is. They bought it at Uniqlo because it was, at the
I hope you stop everyone that you see and you're like, name 3 Stanley Kubrick movies right now.
You know what? When I first came to Japan, I was kind of that mind. At this point, there's no purpose. There's no reason to do that. I did have that when I first came. I did have that instinct. Okay, oh, you don't know Kubrick? I'm going to school you on Kubrick now. But now I'm just like, if we're not Kubrick, but Spielberg, if they got the Jaws shirt on, they also had a Spielberg run of shirts. I was like, they got the Jaws shirt on. They don't even know what Jaws. They don't even know it's a movie.
Well, speaking of music, I usually don't pay too much close attention, except for when they have weird out. This one is a weird outro, but I'm not talking about the outro. They play
Hallelujah chorus. Yeah.
But I've never heard that song used in this context. It's usually
while watching someone get mind raped by an angel. Yes.
Yeah. So that was very Guantanamo MK Ultra-y. I don't know what I think about it. Like, I appreciate it in retrospect, but it didn't feel like it fit at the time. But I guess that might have been is that just the Japanese production team not understanding the context of Hallelujah, or like is it a happy accident that they didn't understand it so well that it ended up having this weird juxtaposion that made it stand out?
They understood what it was. It's kind of like, what was it when Asuka and Shinji have to be in sync? What were they were doing it to Ode to Joy. I feel like it's kind of like the other side of the coin. Like, it was fun back in episode 9 when Shinji and Asuka were doing all those dumb tasks and syncing.
Yeah, I guess
then doing point. Ode to Joy. Now it's like, oh, okay. Now here's Handel's Messiah destroying Asuka.
So I guess real quick recap, not that anyone needs it, since we're on episode 22, and hopefully you're probably just watching along anyways, or you've seen it. But the angel number 15, it's still in orbit, right? So we don't have any weapons that can hit it, and all the energy weapons that they're used to using don't have enough energy to make it all the way to this angel. They keep breaking down, or they hit its force field, and the force field absorbs it because it's used too much energy getting there. So the only way they can take this angel out is by throwing the lance of Longinus at it, because it's this physical object meant to kill angels, I guess, that they take out of Adam, the first angel, and they shoot it at this second angel. But while this angel is up in orbit, it basically beams this hallelujah rainbow angel beam, like a big halo stream at Asuka, and the light waves penetrate everything. It penetrates the Ava, it penetrates her skull, and it gets into her brain, and it starts reading her memories, I guess. It's basically not a full mind control, but it's like reading her brain like it's a computer through light waves. That was kind of a very specific technology that they were describing that these angels have.
Do we call it technology? That's an interesting thing about angels. Is it ability or technology,
Well, for
like
us,
when we get it and reassess it and try and reverse engineer it, that makes it technology. But I feel like the term technology maybe doesn't apply to the actual angels.
Potato, tomato, I guess, whatever. But it's also, it's like, reminds me of like a Santa Claus mechanic, right? Like the angels literally have a physical ability to see if you're doing right or wrong, but maybe it's limited by line of sight. So as long as you can hide from God, then you can still commit sin.
See, Shinji did have a somewhat better time with an angel a few episodes ago, right? A little bit of a different interface. Again, I don't know if it's the same thing, but he ended up stuck in the Ava for what, a month? But yeah.
There's also a really cool seizure-inducing scene towards the end of this one. I don't know if that one made the TV one or not. I really...
Oh, it did. That's what I'm talking about Stan Brackage for.
Okay, well, that one was cool, and it just had a whole bunch of random words that I didn't write them all down, but it was, disappointment, suffering, pain, like a bunch of
I got no
stuff.
and death, 9 and tot.
Yeah, lots of 9999, like a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
I thought that again, if you needed more proof that this is legitimately talking about like Monarch MK Ultra-esque things, like there's your proof. Like there's nothing else they can beat you over the head with to let you know that this is all trauma-based programming and not in trying to read into it. Like it's literally happening to these kids, and you're seeing the exact techniques that they're using to train them to become weapons of war.
But we also see in this episode, sometimes bad and or questionable decisions can often trump Kabbalistic conspiracies, right? Because in the end, it comes to this one guy's decision, not the big picture, cabal, right? They don't get to make the decision. Kondo does.
So, I mean, you said good episode. I'd say definitely one of the top 5 episodes at this point. Out of
I was going to say top 3, and then chase that with I also hate it, especially the director's cut. Top 3, and I hate it.
I mean, yeah, I guess I understand it.
Because I knew I was gonna have to watch again. I kind of wasn't looking forward to it. Again, I took a bit of the edge off by doing the TV version. The TV version is a little less edgy, but Asuka still, same thing happened, so it's still pretty disturbing. I would say this is the most disturbing episode, because when Shinji has these things, you're like, oh, whatever, and smack him on the bottom of it. He deserves it. Asuka, you're like, oh no. And just the fact that just herself, she's hitting puberty and she's acting obnoxious right now, So it's like the worst of both worlds.
That, and also I just feel like you can relate to Asuka more just because Shinji is such a shell of a person, right? He doesn't have enough personality for you to even recognize who he is. And when the premise of maybe these pilots are clones even gets suggested, it makes sense for Shinji. It immediately makes sense because Rei is clearly the clone, right? Rei is like the old. They even say in this episode when Asuka starts yelling at her, she's like, "You'd kill yourself if Command told you so." And she's like, "Yep." Like it's not even an insult. She's like, "Yeah, of course I would."
Well, that's a weird thing, because Shinji had some character development up until about episode 17, 18, and then after that point, it's like boom, back to 2 steps forward, 8 steps back for Shinji. He is a shell now.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I don't care about Shinji. I hope we don't even hear his name again for the rest of the series.
I think you are. We only have 2 functional Ava pilots at the moment. Actually, yeah. You think Asuka's going to be back in an Ava in this series? Kind of hard to tell sometimes. It's
possible, because the difference would just be that she has ego loss, because everything that happened in this episode technically was her, I mean, understandably, but her fault, because she was supposed to be Rei's backup, and the fact
she blew up half the city.
She blew up, but also she rushed in. She violated a direct order. Again, that's why you don't draft 14-year-old girls into your military. Like they might just like deny a direct order. But she denied the direct order and rushed in, but it was all because of ego. Because she has this perception that Shinji beat her because Shinji like defeated a previous angel instead of her defeating the angel and like got saved by Shinji. So now she's got this chip on her shoulder, like her ego is bruised by Shinji of all people, and now feels like she's going to be upstaged by Rei. So in order to not feel that being upstaged, 100% ego on her end, she puts herself in danger, and Rey still comes and saves the day anyways, right? And I almost get the impression that Rey could have taken this angel out without even Asuka getting like mind control beamed by it first.
That could be the case, yeah. But anyway, it is nice when the story goes places you really didn't see it going. So +2 Neon Genesis Evangelion there. Should we wrap it up for today? You got any other big points you want to throw on this one?
This perfect tie into Toy Story. So look out for Neon Genesis Evangelion toys in Toy Story 5.
Hey, I see a bunch of toys around here. I can make an army of angels marching around if I want. Except
with AI, if we started now, we could probably come out with it before the real Toy Story 5 comes out.
All right. Yay, AI. Anyway, what's going on your end, I guess?
Here's another pitch for an episode that we just did. You should go and look it up, of Occult Disney, Zootopia, that we had a special guest Isaac Weishaupt from Illuminati Watcher and a whole bunch of other stuff. We go back pretty far. You should go and check that episode out if you haven't seen it already. Full breakdown of Zootopia. And honestly, if you haven't watched the entire Occult Disney podcast from start to end, here's your sign to go and start on that right now. Get started with Snow White and go forward.
I was listening last night and I was like, Isaac has a better microphone than you and I do.
It's better voice is really what it is.
It might be that too. I do a bunch of podcasting like that. Hell, yeah, go listen to Zootopia. That's good enough of a plug for today. Do that. And don't look into the light. Don't look at the angel.
Just buy something. Just buy something. From Paranoid American. Just buy something. Just buy something. From Paranoid American. Get some merch, buy some art. Click that link, add to cart. Say it back, need that print. Nod your head, give consent. Buy a comic, 3 or 4. Think this thought, I want more. Buy a sticker from the store. Think this thought, I want more. Just buy something. Just buy something. From Paranoid American. Just buy something. Just buy something. From Paranoid American.
Paranoid. Yo. I scribble my life away, driven to write the page. Will it enlighten your brain? Give you the flight, my plane, paper the highs ablaze. Somewhat of an amazing feel when it's real, the real, you will engage it. Your favorite, of course, the Lord of an arrangement. I gave you the proper results to hit the pavement. If they get emotional, hey, maybe your language, a game, how they playing it well without Lakers. Evade them, whatever the cost, they are the shapeshift. Snakes get decapitated, met is the apex. Execution of flame you out, nuclear bomb. Distributed at war, rather gruesome for eyes to see. Max them out, then I light my trees. Blow it off in the face, you're despising me for what though? Calculated and rather cutthroat. Paranoid American must be all the blunt smoke for real. Lord, give me a day away, vacate. They wait around to hate whatever they say. Matters not in the least bit. We get heavy rotate when a beat hits, so thank us, you're welcome. Fuck the niggas for real, you're welcome. They ain't never had a deal, you're welcome. Man, they lacking appeal, you're welcome. Yet they doing it still, you're welcome.